guys, and welcome to Monday Bakes. I'm Gabby and I'm going to show you today how to make magic cake, which is a really special cake that with one batter ends up in 3 layers. So let me just show you the ingredients and let's get started. Our very first ingredient is just 4 eggs. You can see we've already separated that into the egg yolks, and over here the egg whites. 150 grams of sugar, 125 grams of melted butter, 115 grams of flour, 500 milliliters of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now we already have the oven preheated to 160 degrees Celsius, so we're just going to let that go. Our very first step is that we are going to mix up these egg whites. So this is our final product of the egg whites after we have whipped them up and beat them for a long time. You want those egg whites to be nice and thick, almost cloud-like. Okay, so now the next part, we're going to take our egg yolks, our 4 egg yolks right here, and we're going to put them in this big bowl that we used before for the beating of the egg whites. And we are going to add to that our 150 grams of sugar. Just pour that right in here. And then next we're going to add our melted butter. We let that cool down a little bit, but we don't want it totally ice cold either. And next we are going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 just like that. We are ready to mix. Okay guys, so if you can see, this color has definitely changed to a much lighter yellow and you're starting to see bubbles. You want it to get almost frothy. Now we are ready for our next step, where we are going to add a little bit of flour. And you don't want to add it all right immediately, just kind of a little at a time. So, like that. We'll mix that up and then we'll add the next part. Alright, this is looking really good. Next, we are going to add our milk. And what's really important about this milk is that it's lukewarm. You do not want it to be cold, because if it's cold, it's going to actually make our butter harden. That butter that we had that was already melted. So we don't want that. We're just going to add a little bit like this. I'm going to go ahead. This may splatter a bit, so just kind of be aware. And you are ready to go. Probably the most tricky part of the recipe. What you are going to do is you're just going to fold in the egg whites. You don't want to really mix it, making this motion. You're going to be doing this, kind of overlapping it. Okay, and so what you are seeing happen is that there are still going to be a few kind of clumps on the top of your batter. But that's okay, because those clumps are actually what's going to form that top layer. So it's really important that you still do have a little bit of clumpiness. And I know that seems a little bit odd with a cake, but you're just going to have to trust me on this one. It's going to turn out really delicious. So this looks good to go. Before we are ready to pop that in the oven, I'm just going to go ahead and butter and flour this actually. So I'm just using the outside of the butter for the butter I used earlier. And I'm just going to rub it down, kind of all along the sides, to make sure that our cake does not stick. And here we go. Okay, that's good. And here I have some flour along it. And against the sides. Oops. And then I'm going to evenly distribute this a bit. Okay. So now we are going to add this right here. and it's very liquidy, as you can see. But do you see those clumps I'm talking about? They look scary, but they are very important. I know you guys probably don't believe me right now that this is gonna turn into 3 layers, but it happens. And it's awesome. So you just have to wait and see, okay? Okay guys, so the cake is ready. It's been in there for about 60 minutes. And we are going to take it out. And it's actually gonna look a little jiggly in the center, and that is okay. Alright, because we're gonna let it sit for 3 hours, and I know that seems like a while, but it's not too bad. You just go ahead and do something else. We're gonna leave it actually right here, okay? Okay guys, so I sped up the process a little bit and I popped our cake actually into the refrigerator. So it's time to take it out and have a taste. Honestly, you can eat this cake if it's room temperature, but I think it tastes much better when it's cold. It's my personal preference. You can do it either way. And put it over here. And let's see if our layers came out pretty nice. If we can see them in the camera. So hopefully you can see that there is a bottom layer right here that's a little bit thicker. We have this middle custard layer, and on top you have a little sponge layer. Now, the very last step, and most important, is to invite a friend to join you to try the cake.
Hey!
Hey!
Can I try it?
Of course!
Oh.
Alright,
Let me try it.
she will be our taste tester, our official taste tester, to let us know how it tastes. Really good?
So good.
Yay! Okay, good.
So good. Thank you.
Alright guys, well thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Monday Bakes. I hope you tune in next week. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.